Before we start the show, I want to thank the thousands of you, who have read This Book Will Make You Dangerous. Many of you have told me that the book's unique way of exploring fear, confidence, and purpose has had a lasting impact, that it's much easier for you to get clarity and direction about what really matters and what you want to do in this lifetime. It's also amazing to hear that quite a few of you have read it multiple times and even bought copies for friends, so thank you again. Just in case you weren't aware, I created a free companion video course for the book, and in these videos, I walk you through the big takeaways and practices from each chapter. And I even cover some extra stuff that's not included in the book. Information on how to access the course is in newer versions of the book, and if you own an older version of the book and you don't know how to access the course, just hit me up via the contact form at tripplanier.com and we'll get you all set up. And one last thing, if you're one of the thousands who have already read the book, please consider leaving an honest review on Amazon so that others can decide if it's right for them. Again, thank you so much for reading This Book Will Make You Dangerous. And now, let's start the show. It's time to fight. There's this blanket. It's a nice, cozy blanket. It feels nice and cozy at first, but it starts to get tighter, a little more difficult to move. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
You will have to expand. You will have to work against that inertia that wants to keep you tucked in, that wants to hold you down, that wants to hold you back, that wants to eclipse your desire, that wants to eclipse your ability to experience aliveness and freedom and love. It wants to keep you stuck. The part of you I want to invite into this conversation when I hear it's like, yeah, but I actually would love to feel you rear up and pull your shoulders back and be willing to knock this motherfucker in the mouth. To tell this to back the fuck off. Because here's the deal. You've got one life, my friend. This is it. Because 95-year-old version of you may wish you fought right now.
Fuck.
You are listening to the new man beyond the Macho Jerk and the New Age Wimp. Your host is men's coach Tripp Lanier.
Do you ever wonder if you're doing enough with your life? If you want more, does that mean you're not grateful for what you already have? And would it be okay for someone to come into your house and just do whatever the hell they wanted with your partner, your kids, or your possessions? Today's coaching conversation is with a guy who says he wants more vitality and opportunity. We expose the mindset that's allowing him to be pushed around by resistance and laziness, and I challenge him to fight for his life force the same way he would fight for his family. What you're about to hear is an actual coaching call. The person being coached volunteered and gave explicit permission to have our conversation recorded for this podcast. You're at this stage of your life now. You said you're 40. Is that right?
Yeah, just turned 40 in December.
And so we're at 40. And what feels like, what's 40 like for you? Is it working, or does it feel like something, there's something area that could be more in alignment for you?
Been in the restaurant business since like 22 years now. And, I had my first son when I was 19. So it was the Midwestern working class gumption of like, well, cutting college out and just going to cut my hair and fucking go into management. So I have the stable, income to provide for, my son. And, do I feel like fulfilled or, full every time I get up and go to work? Not really, It's still really not like.
I'm trying to imagine what it would be like becoming a father at 19. Still very much a young man. Still very much a young man.
Yeah.
And
very
for a lot of folks, especially, more in our generation, the 20s is when we kind of figure out who we are.
Mm-hmm.
And not just who we are, but also what we can do. There's the word I like to use is industriousness. It's just like we kind of figure out like our flex. It's like,
sure.
how fast can this thing go? Like what happens when I really hit the gas,
right?
And find my power here.
Yeah.
And it sounds like for you, obviously you had to buckle down and put other people first. And do you feel like you ever got that opportunity to explore who you really are or to really explore your power?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. And it's funny because my wife, we have a blended family. We've got 5 kids. She brought 3 and I brought 2 and none together. And she had her first son at 19 as well. So it was kind of, we could relate with each other of, we didn't have 20s, so now we've got 2 20-year-olds at 40 and we're like, well, fuck. Now we kind of maybe did this right. We didn't get to go play as much when we were young and dumb and broke. And now we can maybe go play in our 40s when we finally made some fucking money and we can go do some actual cool shit,
Yeah.
So that's kind of our outlook on it.
So you've got a sense that, hey, there is more opportunity here. I have more power. I have more capacity to express it. Do you feel like you're able to express that, or is there something that gets in the way of your creative energy there?
I probably get in my way more than anything else, of being that, more on the, like I said in my email, more in the analysis paralysis of like, oh, I've got this great idea and I'm just going to think on it. I'm going to think on it and I'm going to think on it and not actually move on it until it kind of fizzles out into the ether and, and then find something else.
So you get an idea, I'm going to think on it, but then by the time you kind of kill it there.
Yeah.
Just by letting it sit in your head.
Right.
Okay. Does that happen? Is it a frequent situation?
I wouldn't say frequent, because my wife and I are very supportive of each other and, what we want to do and everything like that. But, I feel like I got a huge fear of rejection a lot. On a lot of things, especially when it comes to things with her or things with the family and whatnot. And, I get down on myself and spiral into this, self-deprecating hole of, and like, no, that's not good enough. No, that they're going to think that's stupid. Or, one of the teenagers says like, no, that's stupid. We're not going to do that. And instead of just being like, no, fuck you, get in the car, let's go.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that hems me up a lot more from actually just voicing that, whatever idea or power it is.
So the image that I'm getting here is that you started your family very young, had to give up a lot of your own autonomy and personal exploration, personal growth time. You're now in your 40, you have a lot more financial capacity and space. Kids are more and more independent. And it's this time like, this could be a pretty fruitful time for me, is what I'm getting.
Yeah, very much so.
And as I'm sitting here, I'm kind of wondering, well, what does the 95-year-old version of you have to say about this moment in time? If he's looking at you, can you get a sense of him looking at you and this opportunity that you have? What is he saying to you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think that he would probably say that, like, yes, keep doing what you're doing, but like, is that enough? Was that enough? Did you really take those leaps as much as you could have, or maybe you should have? But I don't want to just complain to complain, either. I've never been a complainer. I have so much gratitude for everything that I have and everything that I have accomplished with, what curveballs that I guess my dick has thrown at me. and and kind of screw it, just shifted my life, the way that I have. So, I mean, I think I've done pretty well with what I've gotten myself into, and, rolled with the punches. But at 95, if I'm looking back, I think he'd be pretty happy with what I've got going on right now.
Great.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like we're cool then.
I mean, I'm cool, but is it enough?
Is it enough?
I mean, yeah, it's enough, but.
Well, whoever's asking that question, is it enough? Do you have any idea of what enough would be?
No.
So it's just
absolutely.
Is it enough? But we don't know what enough, what an idea. Well, just think about it just for a second. What would be an example of enough to that part of you that's curious? Is this enough?
I don't think that there's ever enough, because once you've got enough, then you're dead. I feel like that there's always something over that next ridge that we should be striving for, or that I should be striving for. So yeah, I don't know if there ever would be enough, but I'm, like I said, I'm so grateful and have so much gratitude for what I have done and what has been, what I'm dealing with today. Besides what I was dealing with today already.
I want to reflect what's occurring to me as I talk to you is that there's a curiosity about, is this enough? And then I hear it sounds like another person comes in and says, look, it's cool. Don't push it. Be happy with what you got.
Mm-hmm.
Which is fine. I'm totally cool with that. But it's almost as if if we were in a room with others, it's like this part of you that's curious about enough isn't allowed to speak. Does that resonate at all for you? Like it's dangerous to think about, let's just not go down there. Let's just be cool with what we got. Things are going so well. Let's just stay right here.
Yeah, it does a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
It's because I feel like if I don't think that is it enough, then I'm not showing that. I feel like I'm kind of pissing on what I've got already.
Oh, okay.
So
right.
It's like almost the shame of being like, oh, so, your family and, your great job and your awesome house and everything you have going for you now isn't enough. Fuck you.
Right. Right. So it's almost as if I want something, if I were to want something, then somehow it's a judgment against what I already have. That it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I can totally appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I would ultimately want for you is that you have freedom of expression, that you can be completely appreciative and grateful for what you have. And just, hey man, I still have time on this planet. I want to explore shit.
Yeah.
I want to create stuff.
Yeah.
And it has nothing that's not of judgment against what I've already done.
Right. Yeah.
So 95-year-old self isn't like, no, just stop it, shut it down. Right? Don't hurt anybody's feelings. But I can be my 40-year-old self and say, wow, what a rich, beautiful life I've created.
Yeah.
And look at the opportunities I have now. What would I want to explore? What might I want to explore that is not a negative judgment against what I already have?
Yeah.
It's not either or.
Fair.
Can you feel that, or does it still
Yeah.
feel like it's either or?
No, I do feel that. very much so, and I feel like, see, it's all fucking stemmed from only child, parents divorced, like dad slept on the couch my entire senior year of high school. Grades and everything were fine. And, so they didn't have to worry about me. So kind of left to my own devices. They had a good relationship. And then like all of a sudden they didn't. And so it really, my wife always, we joke all the time that I had to learn how to fight with her. I had to learn how to, speak up for myself or retort instead of just shrinking, whenever I did something dumb and she was pissed off, instead of being like, no, that's what it is, and just being like, oh yes, honey, you're right. I'm sorry. Instead of owning my own power and reflecting on that. And I feel like it comes through to so many facets of my life of shrinking. I fucking hate it. And it drives me nuts. And every time it happens, like, I don't see it in the moment enough to being like, hold on, what are you doing? Stop. And then fix it. It's always a process in my brain that goes on for a day or two. And then, I'll come back and be like, hey, I don't agree with what, we were arguing about the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Or I won't even say anything. Mm-hmm. I'll just ignore it and it'll go away and everything's fine.
Right. It was kind of the dynamic we were in a minute ago, which was, hey, what do you want? Actually, he's not allowed to talk. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we were to appreciate that at a young age, an age where you would really learn to exercise your own power.
Yeah.
Who am I really? What do I really stand for? What do I really want for my life? Yeah. Maybe you didn't get to work those muscles that well.
No.
Okay.
No
but you're not a victim. You're not powerless.
No.
Right. We're in that opportunity now to start to see the dynamic which says, hey, you wanting something and speaking up is quite dangerous.
Right.
Does it feel that way? Like, this is going to rock the boat.
Yeah. No, it feels like, it almost then get back to that shame that it comes back to, and that I'm jeopardizing almost everything that is great by speaking my own truth.
Okay. What if you and I just focused on helping you be in relationship with you?
Okay.
Meaning that within your own self, you could have space to hear yourself out. If a part of you spoke up and said, hey, I'd like to experience XYZ or create ABC. Instead of, you know what, let's just not entertain anything. Let's just be okay with where we are and just keep things wrapped up. So before we were even concerned about speaking it and sharing it with others, it's really about being in integrity with ourselves. Can I be a yes to myself, even if it's quite scary what comes up?
Sure.
I might realize I'm sad or I'm angry or I'm horny for this thing, or there's a part of me that wants to blow up my life and go live in the South Pacific or whatever. It's really scary to acknowledge these things. And so we think we need to push them down. When what's possible is I can listen to these things and not be hijacked by them. That on a Tuesday morning, I had wanted to live in the South Pacific and not have the life that I have here. Okay, that was how I felt in that moment of time, and I didn't have to act on it. That just is what showed up. What's happening for you is we take the pressure off of you having to navigate this with other people and just helping you navigate this with yourself.
I feel like I don't even know what I want.
Yeah.
I feel like I've never taken that time to, maybe glimpses here and there, but that I haven't really taken the time to look deep and see what those core values are for myself, for the, what that integrity, what do I stand for? When you said that, I was just like, well, fuck, what do I stand for? Like, for so long, I've stood for just like, just go with the flow. Everything's good. You're water, baby. And water doesn't stand. It sits, So, yeah, that was,
What if we take the pressure off of you needing to really come up with what you stand for too? That sounds big. That sounds really heavy.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? And we could actually start to just find some of the more mundane choices you make on a daily basis. We could help you start to orient what would have you want something, right? So maybe it's just, I want more aliveness in my life, or I want more freedom, more spaciousness in my life, or I want more connection in my life. This is where we can start to help you close the gap between I just do this stuff because to I do this stuff because this is where I get to feel more me. I get to feel more freedom, more aliveness, more love, more peace of mind.
Yeah.
So I went way far out there. I'll reel it back in here.
Fair. You talk about big and heavy shit, and then you're just like, here are all the concepts. No, you're good.
I want to help you start to orient between kind of the immediate gratification of comfort and sleepwalking versus, hey, this might be a bit of a pain in the ass, but I do feel more expansive and strong and energized as a result.
Right.
If we were to use that as an example, we could start to look at your day through that lens. Okay, I want to feel more alive. I want to feel more expansive. What would I do? What would I put in my day to allow that to happen, to invite that to happen?
And that's the thing that I've just been struggling with in the past, I would say, 5 years, is finding that creativity of being like, of finding that something to do, and I feel like I almost put too much pressure on myself to find the perfect thing. And if it's not the perfect thing, then not gonna do it, instead of just like, oh, fuck, let's just go. Let's just go try. Let's go, make an experience, or just like, no, it's got to be perfect.
Great.
And
so that's resistance.
Yeah.
Resistance comes up with anything that'll keep you stuck.
Right.
So what better than you need to find the perfect thing, or else we're going to sit here and play Candy Crush.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
If you understand that going in and you anticipate resistance, like resistance is going to show up. It wants me on the couch.
Right.
It wants me staying exactly where I am.
Yeah.
Then we can relax this idea that I'm going to find the perfect thing. And I loved how you talked about this experimental mindset, this willing to let's try out. Let's see what has me feel more expansive. Shit, I read about this thing. I want to give it a shot. Why not?
Sure. And that's the where I get stuck in, is like, once I get that, like, I'll think of something while I'm in my day to day and through the grind or whatever. And then there'll be that 2-hour block of open time, and I can't grab it. I won't be able to go back and be like, oh, fuck, I heard about this great trail that we should go and walk, whatever. And I can't seem to recall it, to put it into that thing. And then it's like, hey, what do you want to do? We'll get a couple hours, before the kids are done with practice or whatever. I don't know. And
how could you solve that problem? You're a smart guy. If you had to be able to remember something, it's almost like there's a device in your pocket that you could write things. Could you type something into it and somehow it would remember it for you? It's almost like you could create it. Wouldn't that be amazing if somebody invented that thing?
All right, I can't. Yeah.
Listener, he's flipping me the bird right now.
No, that's exactly fair, and I create too many excuses for myself to get in my own way, and that's where the other struggle is to notice when I'm creating those excuses and just being like, quit it.
Here's the image I get. It's time to fight. And what are you fighting? There's this blanket. It's a nice, cozy blanket. And it's getting tighter. And just tucked in more and more around you. It feels nice and cozy at first. But it starts to get tighter, a little more difficult to move. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Okay. You will have to expand. You will have to work against that inertia that wants to keep you tucked in. It will require, I use the word fight because there's a part of you that I want you to have access to that. To imagine that there was a force that wants to hold you down, that wants to hold you back, that wants to eclipse your desire, that wants to eclipse your ability to experience aliveness and freedom and love. It wants to keep you stuck.
It does. Because it's nice and cozy and comfy. and there's Candy Crush. Look, there's Candy Crush right there.
Right there. And you have a choice, but I want you to recognize that this force is relentless. And the part of you I want to invite into this conversation when I hear it's like, yeah, but I actually would love to feel you rear up and pull your shoulders back and be willing to knock this motherfucker in the mouth. To tell this to back the fuck off. Because here's the deal. You've got one life, my friend. This is it. I'm going to hold this up for you. I'm going to hold up this energy for you. Because 95-year-old version of you may wish you fought right now.
Yeah. Fuck.
Fight might be the word, but it's really claim.
Sure.
This is yours. It's like it's there.
Yeah.
And something is being allowed to come and take it from you.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's coming in your door and saying, I'm borrowing your wife this evening. And you're like, oh, okay. I don't want to rock the boat. Just.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is my wife.
Right.
I want to help you find, I'm purposely saying this because I want to find the thing that you do claim, like this is mine. This is something I would fight for. My child, my children, back the fuck off. Like I want to invite that you can do that for yourself.
Okay.
Somebody's coming into your house and taking your life force, and I want you to punch him in the mouth.
Okay. Yeah. Fair. Fuck yeah. Okay.
So if this was somebody coming in your house to take your kids, your wife, would you act this way?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's always so obvious,
You keep saying yeah, so I'm a little concerned. So would you act this way?
Would I act in the, oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
No, fuck that. No, fuck that.
Okay.
Those are my people.
Yes.
No.
Okay.
That's, I know how to fight.
Yeah.
I can fought this far. I haven't had the successes that I've had without some fight, without some grit and some tenacity to say, no, fuck you. This is my shit. This is my shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is your life force that's being siphoned off day by day.
Yeah. If nothing else, by my own self.
Yeah. And we can hear the excuses. Oh, I just can't do this, and I just can't do that, and I just can't do that. Get the fuck up.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah.
I want to be really clear that this is my bias. Okay? I want this for you.
Right.
You may not want it for you. You'll have to decide if you really want it for you.
Yeah. And that decision is going to have to come with action. Because if not, it's just a theory. And it's just Tripp telling me to, what are you going to do?
What we're doing is we're helping you get in touch with your why. A lot of people look for a reason, an idea. But it's enough to just care. It's enough to just be an owner, to own your energy.
And I feel like I need to be more in touch and in tune with that energy instead of being afraid of it. There's so much fear that overwhelms my brains, that dictates my actions, of whether it's rejection, whether it's acceptance, whether it's just the failure that has me paralyzed more oftentimes than not, instead of just being like, fuck, we're going to fail. We're going to fail, but it's not going to be the end of the world fail. It's not going to be the die fail. It's just going to be like, well, fuck that up. All right, let's try this other way.
Yeah. So let's zoom out, because if we were working together over long term, what we would do is just help you develop this relationship with yourself, the part of you that fights for and defends and exercises and expresses this vitality, this life force. Okay? And it just needs to be for you. So how you eat, how you move through the world. Okay? What that does is energy generates energy.
Right.
You're tuning a guitar, you're tuning yourself to this frequency. It just becomes more natural, and you're also building momentum.
Yeah.
That relationship with self now starts to expand outwards to include others. The places where you are more concerned about rejection, failure, those other things, that's where we start to get into the we domain, where that's others, right?
Yeah. I see you.
We're bringing momentum into that place. We're also bringing some muscle memory. We've built up some strength. It's much easier once you've found that alignment with yourself first, to then practice that with skill, with compassion, with empathy, with the other people in our lives. But it would start with you, and then we'd exercise that, find opportunities to play with that as you interact with other people and then the world at large. But what happens is we flip it. We think we worry about how the world's going to treat us. We worry about how our loved ones are going to see us. And so we shut it down internally within ourselves. And that's where we started our conversation today.
Right.
And what I'm challenging you to say, let's not worry about the rejection stuff. Let's not worry about any of these other things. Let's just have you be in right relationship with you, where we have alignment with you between, hey, I say I value this, and so I act accordingly.
Facts.
I don't have to look at some list on Reddit about how I'm supposed to live my life and just execute things. And it's more of, no, this is what I fucking do because I care about my life.
Yeah.
And it's hard. I need to remind myself over and over again.
That's huge. I feel like a couple of glimpses in my formative younger adulthood that I've found glimpses of being like, that's my power. That's it. And I'm living it, and I'm fucking, and then I see, the fruits of that, of the world, and the secret of, you put out into the world what you get back. And, and I feel like I lose sight of it, and whether it's whatever, that I'm distracting myself from focusing on listening to those actual feelings of, oh, wait, that wasn't right. That's not why did you do that? And just kind of numbing it out instead of being like, no, dumbass.
So when I say that this can be actually start from a pretty mundane place, mm-hmm. I mean that. So if I cared about my life force, if I really was willing to fight for my life force, knowing that it's so easy to have it siphoned off, drama, bullshit, news, distractions, whatever it might be, then how might I approach how I eat, how I move my body, what I choose to do in my free time? We could just start right there. It doesn't have to be monumental, but we could start to identify, okay, less of this, more of this. And ideally where you feel this, fuck yes, I'm honoring myself.
Yeah.
What comes to mind?
I've got to exercise more. I just feel better. I feel stronger. I feel bigger. I feel more powerful for myself
mm-hmm.
than opting out, so to speak.
And what if we looked at your exercise not just as this, like, okay, I go do this so I can move meat around, but what if we looked at it as a way to also train your brain? Meaning there's something about how you work out that first off is safe. Because I see a lot of guys come out of the gate 40 and they're like, you know what, I'm going to fucking do it. And then they're injured 2 weeks later.
Right.
Okay. So got to get safe.
Yeah.
Stay safe. But to create an environment where you do overcome something, where you can feel that part of you that is a fighter, that is a warrior, that is a primitive force within us.
Yeah.
And not just like, oh, I go in and I put my earpods in and listen to a podcast and whatever. Like, well, it could be a place where you really train your brain. Like there's a place where you get to express this power.
Yeah.
It could be playful. Like it doesn't have to be just the gym. It could be, I used to work out a guy, he had a thing out in the woods and you climb on shit and you go whatever. You felt like Monkey Man stuff. And it was really
awesome.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I want to help you just open your mind to what's possible here. But the point being is like, you're not just moving meat around, you're helping yourself access this part of you.
Right. And that's why yoga was so helpful for me, because I could find that almost meditative clarity within myself of, okay, almost the mushroom epiphany of, there it is. It all makes sense. And now I can, because it's so many jumbled thoughts, even as I speak right now, of mishmash and this and that, and not really saying anything, where after one of those yoga classes or, even just doing it at home to help center my brain to make me better me,
mm-hmm.
to, my body feels stronger, I never did it for strength or, to just move meat around, like you say. It's more of the, I want to feel good when I'm 50. I want to feel like strong and powerful. And I want to keep up with my kids. I want to go do cool shit with them. I want to go mountain biking with them. I want to go do things with, with them and not be the fucking old guy that can't keep up. Where like, oh, I'm going to stay back because, you know, I'm a dumbass. And I mean, I always end up hurting myself, you know, blowing hamstrings or, you know, whatever. Cause there's diving boards and, you know, I want to do gainers. Fuck it.
I want to throw something out there because I appreciate the yoga, the meditative aspect of this.
Yeah.
And what's also coming to mind is the wild man. He's the part of us that's been pushed away. He's the part of us that is dirty, primitive. He's been locked in a cage. He's also the root of our power. But he's what we fear in ourselves.
Sure.
So we've got this yoga contemplative thing that says, yes, I'm calm. We've got enough of a chorus of voices in you that is, hey, let's just kind of keep everything under wraps and under control. And I want to just throw this out there. Is there a way that we could find an outlet for this wild man? A gritty ass workout where if I were to drive by, I would say, who is that son of a bitch right there? That dripping wet, growling beast of a man. I want to hide my child from you.
I mean, not currently, but fuck yeah. Now my eyes are going to be open to look for it.
Yes.
You know, because I do love that shit.
Okay.
I do love the just raw push and the mental push of fuck you, don't give up. No, you're not done. Mm-hmm. No, you're not done. You're not done until you're done. Mm-hmm. Don't give up. Yeah.
Okay. So it's not that we're against yoga.
No. And I understand your point. Totally. Yeah.
But I want to invite you to have access to this part of you.
Yeah.
Because this is where the vitality this is where vitality resides.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the wild man.
Yeah.
And if we disown him, we lose our vitality, but we also get into another mess.
Yeah.
So if you have access to him, if you have a friendly relationship with him,
yeah,
and he is allowed to be expressed,
yeah,
this dirty cock swinging, gritty motherfucker.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a huge part of it. You know, I've been playing it safe for so long for the well-being and the stability of others that there's got to be, I've definitely got some pent-up shit going on inside that it needs to be released and exercise the fucking demons.
I can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So let's zoom out.
Yeah.
I'm taking away that there's a lot more power here. We haven't really learned how to use it quite yet. So it's scary. It's uncomfortable. Sure. And that the opportunity here is to learn how to be in relationship with that so it can be a part of your life, to not eclipse or hurt anything in your life, but that your life gets more expansive now. It's both and.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, and.
Yes, and.
Yes,
and that there's a ton of vitality, but we're going to have to fight for it.
Yeah.
Meaning there's so many temptations and this constant pull to go to sleep.
Sure.
And you will have to drag yourself up off the mat, out of your bed, off the couch, and come swinging sometimes to fight for yourself, to fight for your vitality. There will not be an invitation. You will not be in the mood.
Yeah.
You will not, quote, feel ready. You will have to fight.
Yeah.
And if you're out of touch with this part of you, this vital part of you, it's really hard.
Yeah. I've been so out of touch with that part of me for so long when I'm trying to bring it out in my boys and to show them that they need to, and I haven't been fucking practicing what I've been preaching.
Okay. So, not so worried about how you need to deal with rejection and failure and all those. Really, this is your relationship with you at this stage.
Yeah.
And there's a way for you to create greater strength and abundance of that energy, access to that energy right now. And that's just where I want to help you focus short term. Okay.
Okay.
Then it becomes about how do you express that in relationship and do it in a way that's, like I said, skillful and compassionate.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So when it comes to actions, things that you can do as a result of this conversation, what are you taking away? What comes to mind here?
Gotta get moving. Gotta find that the inaction is what is killing me. Well, killing my vitality.
Mm-hmm.
That they just gotta get off my ass and fucking do it.
Okay.
Stop patty caking around, man.
All right. So some movement's going to be better than none, obviously. And what I want to encourage you to consider, if it fits, okay, because you might shift after our conversation. I want to leave room for that.
Okay.
But I want to leave it open to find something that helps you access that gritty, primitive energy in there. That it's not just about moving meat around, but it can be a place to express that, to help you tap into that. Where the music's loud enough where you can yell and you don't feel like an idiot or whatever it is, like you can just really get in there. I like the face you're making right now, like somebody opened a bad cheese or something in the room, like, yeah, that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just grunting now, Tripp.
That's it. Yeah. That's fine. Okay. But that's it. Like having access to that, not being afraid of that. And now let's imagine what's possible for you when you have access to that vitality. Let's imagine when you've got that momentum. And getting off your ass and away from Candy Crush isn't the major win for the day. Let's imagine what's possible for you when you have access to that.
I think it begins to open up more doors within myself to be more true to myself, to be alive.
Yeah. Yeah. What a gift it is to be around people who are alive.
Yeah. You can always point them out in the crowd. They're always ready.
Yeah. And I'm just imagining you being alive and in the world instead of sleepwalking. It's like, there's an opportunity. What is that? And then you act, you go check it out.
Yeah.
You just have access to life now.
Yeah.
Life isn't something that other people do. Well, I didn't get to, I'm just not one of those guys. That's for other guys. I'm enough like us. It's fine, right? No, I'm curious. What is that?
Yeah.
It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
You have choice is the point. So I want to make an agreement with you. I want you to do something where you really look for a way to express this energy on top of what you already have access to. I want to push you a little bit outside of your comfort zone here. So yes to, I don't want to just set the bar where, okay, cool, you work out a little bit more. It's more of this energetic component. So is there something that comes to mind that you've maybe been curious about in the past, but you just haven't really given it too much serious consideration? Doesn't have to be Fight Club.
That's good. It's not going to be Fight Club. Let's see. This is one of those times where it's like, I got that 2 hours and I thought of all those great things over here and
okay.
I didn't make a fucking note.
How about this? How about by end of day Friday, I want an email from you about your next experiment. It's not the perfect thing.
Okay.
But the next experiment.
Cool. I can do that.
And I want you to be a little afraid of it.
Bet.
I want you to anticipate there's going to be a party that's like, you know what? Let's just not do this. This is going to be a little weird. Tripp's out of his fucking mind.
Well, I'm sure that he is, but yeah, he's been doing it long enough where it makes sense.
But I want you to follow that curiosity. It's like it's a little spark. Where does your attention want to go? Where do you feel drawn to? Where my attention goes over there. It's a little scary. I don't know. Those seem like, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
So end of day Friday, send me at least one experiment you're going to be doing.
Okay.
And then we'll follow up.
Okay.
Agreed?
Agreed.
Okay, man.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't have a lot of men to talk to that can relate or that give a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
So, I appreciate you, very much so, for taking the time and, pointing out all the holes in the Swiss cheese that I thought I was Munster.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you showing up here too. And you touched on something that this is how I got, the way I got into this whole world and got into this work was through men's groups.
Yeah.
And not sitting around drinking beer. Like I had guys that I could do that with.
Sure.
But it was guys that were on this path and trying to figure it out the best they could.
Right.
And having deeper conversations, but then all really challenging one another.
Mm-hmm.
And that environment, my whole life just had a major turn. I love it. I mean, it's just, my whole life that's what it's become.
Yeah.
So I throw that out there because if you were to really look around, I imagine you might find some men's groups in your area.
Okay.
You're in a large enough city that there probably is stuff there.
Okay.
If you were to look at their organizations like Mankind Project or something, there's way more stuff available now than there was 10 years ago.
Sure.
So if you willing to look, I think you'd find something.
No, I think that would be very helpful as well.
Yeah.
Just as another resource, to experiment.
Absolutely. Okay. So Friday, I'll hear from you.
You will.
I want to I want to thank you because I notice your vitality now. I can feel it. I'm watching you move. I'm watching you like, oh, you just like, yes, your face color is different.
Yeah.
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 Now we create from this place. We are husbands from this place. We are fathers from this place. We're professionals from this place. We bring this into the world. We're not hoping to get it from them or just from them.
Yeah.
Like vampires.
Fucking energy vampires. Yeah.
Okay, brother. Good work, man.
Awesome. Thank you, Tripp.
Okay. Look forward to
I
hearing
appreciate
them.
you.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Bye-bye.
Talk soon.
If these interviews are helping you, please leave a positive review on whatever podcast app you use so that others can discover the show more easily.